If you thought last season was deep,
You haven't heard anything yet.
this is boots to boots.
The moments where everything you thought you knew about yourself changes.
Because this is the stuff no one wants to talk about.
But it's what needs to be talked about.
Healing doesn't happen alone.
It happens through shared experience.
So lace up your boots.
Join the conversation.
We'll be talking to you. Today's guest is making headlines once again. She's one of the fiercest competitors in the Knockouts division, a former Knockouts world champion, and part of the most iconic Knockouts rivalry in history.
But life took her in a different path. Motherhood, acting, health challenges, and stepping away from the ring to focus on family and purpose.
And now she's back and she's joining us to talk about it all. Welcome, Taryn Terrell.
Hi, guys. That was a really nice intro. Thank you.
No, thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you and hot off the heels of your return.
It's pretty crazy. I'm like, I kind of said I've been like floating around on a little cloud, you know, because like never really thought this would ever happen. So I'm like, what? Like, feels like a dream. And I dream in wrestling. Do you guys dream about wrestling?
All the time.
Like, it never stopped. It didn't matter if I wasn't wrestling. I dream in wrestling. So it's just like, it literally feels like I'm just inside one of those dreams right now.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where we were going to go first of like, how did it feel? And like, walk us through what it was like. You're in New Orleans, in your hometown, and you're waiting for your music to hit. What were you feeling?
I thought I was going to die. Like my heart, my heart was beating out of my chest. I was just like standing there on the stairs. And ODB was going out first. And so I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, can I actually do this? So I was just freaking out. And then I told myself, I'm like, okay, if you don't calm down, you're not even going to enjoy this moment. And, you know, so I just kind of like started going through breathing techniques. And then I went out. And as soon as I walked through, it just felt like it had always been that way. Like it was like all the nerves left my body. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
No, it's just funny too, because I got to meet you in New Orleans for the first time, and you're like, oh, I know you from social media. And I'm just sitting there, I was like, oh, that's a good way to meet me, I guess. Yeah, to know me because of all the history questions and whatnot.
Oh, I love
but
that.
it was good to finally meet. It was good to finally meet you in person. No, in person though. Just because watching from back in the day and watching on the TNA Plus app and going through the Rolodex, and it's just you always popped up as one of the stars, obviously, at that time frame.
Oh man, thanks. It was nice to meet you too. Yeah, I do. I love it. It's so funny because then there's people too backstage that I was like, I feel like I know you, but I guess we've never met in person, but it's just because of social.
Yeah.
So like, did you know that you wanted to get back into wrestling, or like, how did this come about? Was it a phone call? Like, did you seek it out?
So, okay. So I guess it's kind of like a multi question. You know what I mean? So the first thing is, I think that you guys could probably attest to this as well, is that with wrestling, you can think you're done, or you can think you're never going to do it again. And then like an opportunity could present itself, and there's no way that your heart could ever say no. You know, it lives with you forever. There's nothing in life that, I mean, I've had children and I've done some pretty cool jobs, but there is nothing like being inside of that ring. And there is like, my heart is constantly missing it. So regardless of like whether I was, you know, there or I went and worked at NWA or whatever I did, like, I don't know, like every time I had to leave wrestling and step away, it felt like a part of me was missing. And so I forgot the rest of the questions that you were asking, but
like was it a phone call that got you into it, or did you just say screw it and come back?
Okay, so I saw that TNA was coming to New Orleans. And so I actually had reached out, mainly just wanting to go and say hi to everybody because it had been so long, and I wanted to take my kids and kind of be like, hey, look what mommy used to do. And that's actually how it developed into what it did.
Yeah,
just wanted to go say hi.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, and I think just like it was the perfect time for that to happen then, because the story of, you know, the Elegance brand and how they've kind of been like running down, you know, Knockouts legends, and then ODB comes back, and then Mickey's coming back, and like I think it was just the perfect storm, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I think that you maybe weren't who everyone had expected. You know,
no, not at all.
Like it really was like, oh shit, like it's Taryn, as opposed to, you know, Mickey's come back a few times at this point. And so I think it was a real shock value to the entire wrestling world that it was you.
Well, I think there's also a lot more legendary people than me. So I think that it's truthfully, I mean, like, you know, people like Kong and Gail, and, you know, there's so many people that have done so much more in wrestling than I have ever done or could ever dream of doing. So I'm just like grateful I get to play a little part in this.
No, don't sell yourself short, because we have to then talk about you and Gail in the last woman standing match is one of the most iconic knockouts matches ever. It's what everyone talks about when you list, you know, the most important matches in knockouts history. And so, I mean, what does it feel like to have left that legacy and to know that that's how we, you know, I'm not a knockout anymore, but that was the greatest honor of my life. And I'm gonna get emotional about it.
Aww.
Only when it comes to talking about the knockouts division, it was, you guys were positioned so unique, and so to know you left that legacy is super important to women's wrestling. So I don't want you to sell yourself short, but I want you to talk about it.
Well, you're gonna make me cry because I think oh dang it, Deanna, you got me going. I think that, I don't know, I think that I've never ever looked at myself as someone who's done anything important, and that sounds really stupid, doesn't it? Like, that sounds you know, and like, I don't want my daughter or anyone other female to grow up and do things that are really cool and to sell themselves short, like you said. Like, I would tell anybody else that, like, don't, you know, stand for what you did and be proud of yourself and do all of these things. But I've always like had, and I don't know if it's like just sort of like the generation that I came from, and everything was so competitive. I mean, it still is, obviously, but like, I don't know. I never looked at it that way. It was like I was given an opportunity and I got to do something with said opportunity. And, you know, I would rather be like, oh, it was because of this or because of that, but it wasn't because of me. You know, and gosh darn it, you got me going. You know, so I mean, it is like, it is really cool. It's cool to hear people say that or to like still comment on that match, because it was really, really special. And the whole thing was special because Gail and I both had to like fight really hard to have it the way we wanted to have it. I think that like telling the stories that we got to tell and having to take so much, like we just had months and months and months of build, and it you don't always get that in wrestling, and you have like a shorter amount of time to tell a story, and you're just like trying to throw and cram everything in there, and sometimes then you lose the emotion of it, where we really got to live in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. And again, don't sell yourself short. You guys were the women's revolution as knockouts before the revolution of women's wrestling kind of took off when it did. What, like 2018 or 2016, 17 time?
Yeah.
Well,
but the knockouts.
No, but like when it, like
so
the knockouts was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So like you can't sell yourself short on that too, where like where girls and women were drawing from that and growing inspiration to become a pro. And like my wife too, one of her first debut matches in her first 10 matches was it as a TNA knockout.
Yeah. I know, that was crazy.
So it's like, I don't know. But for you, like, I know wrestling wasn't your first love and you said that and you've been open about it. What drew you into wrestling once you kind of got that bug in you, and like what made you love pro wrestling out of it?
So it's really cool. I was just telling this story actually last week, and it is Unforgiven WWE pay-per-view in Memphis, and that must have been in 2007 or 2008. I can't remember. It must have been 2007, because that's when I did the Diva Search. And I went to a show, and I was seated in first or second row behind the announcers. So I had like, you know, the special pay-per-view chair and the whole thing. And I watched the whole show, but the match that was a standout for me was Beth Phoenix and Candice Michelle. And in that moment of watching that match, I was just in awe. And I was like, I felt like I was in a point in my life too. I don't know how old I was, like maybe 21, 22, something like that. And I was like sort of in this weird in-between state of like, I don't really know what I want to do with my life. I knew that, like, I was in college at the time. I knew that sort of life wasn't for me. And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. And in that moment of watching that match, I knew with everything, and I didn't watch wrestling growing up. That was the first wrestling I had ever seen in my life. And I knew in that moment that this is what I wanted to do.
That's pretty cool. Now Candice is one of our head producers too. It's like small.
The craziest thing.
Yeah.
I know, it's pretty special. And then she was also a judge. So when I did the Diva Search in 2007, she was a judge for that as well. So it is pretty crazy, and it's cool because I just told her that story when we were in New Orleans. So it's pretty neat. Like I was thinking, I was like, I need to get an Unforgiven like t-shirt, like find it on eBay and have her sign it and be like, the whole reason that I got into wrestling was because of their match.
Yeah, it's so funny. Chelsea Green is one of my best friends, and we always talk about how she is like the epitome of the Divas era today. And if we were friends when I was growing up watching wrestling in high school, like I would have hated her because I was so like, I want to be a wrestler and I'm going to go to Japan and I'm going to let them beat me up so I could perfect the wrestling craft. And she was so like, I just wanted to wear makeup and a little outfit, but I've learned throughout my time of wrestling to like embrace that and love that other people come from other worlds and really can be attracted to like the glitz and the glam of this and seeing women be powerful and presented on such a grand stage. And like I love hearing that that's what inspired you, because it's just this so opposite for me, but I don't think that that's a bad thing. And I think that so much in women's wrestling that type of story gets torn down, as opposed to like, you didn't come from this. And I imagine that once you got into the industry, that was also a piece of you were probably treated poorly because of.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you say that, because I actually had somebody who I won't name, but although he probably would be happy to say it, who came up to me not that long ago and was like, "Hey, Taryn, I have to tell you, I'm really sorry." And I was like, "For what?" And he's like, "I really didn't like you at first." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah." And I guess he thought maybe I knew he didn't like me. I don't know. I had no idea. I was completely oblivious. But he was like, "Yeah, I just thought you were just like another one of those stupid Diva Search girls and like blah, 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 and models and walk in." And the truth is, I really didn't like modeling at all, which is why, like, when I found wrestling, I was like, oh, is it, because I was modeling at the time, but I was only doing it because I didn't want to work a real job,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. I can get paid to like stand at a convention and look cute, and talk to people. I don't know. But yeah, he had kind of said, he was like, it took me a long time. And like, obviously, like he was kind of going through some stuff as far as like he was, really kind of got stuck on the indies, really would only get called up to do like a tryout match every, never got like the big break that he wanted. And because he knew me, resented me for it. But I had no idea this whole entire time. So that being said, I am pretty oblivious to things. So I'm sure I will say, and like on a peer level, I didn't really notice it too much. On a fan level, like anytime, which is so stupid, don't go on and read anything about yourself on the internet. But at the time, like, yes, people could not stand me. Fans could not stand me. And it's fine. And I even said it, I think at the time, I was like, truthfully, like, I don't need to walk in and have people like me. That's not fun. Like, I would rather earn it, that's like, you have to earn it. And it's not fun if they just give it to you.
Yeah. And I think as a fan growing up like that, that's part of why that match with Gail was so special, because we saw you evolve as a wrestler and go from like referee and all these things to like this grand match that women didn't really get to have those opportunities before. So it was all part of like the career arc that you told with your first run at TNA.
Well, and like before that, I went to FCW and I was there for 6 to 8 weeks before I got called up on the road. And it was also like women who had been there for a couple of years at that point. They had already moved from OVW and Georgia, and like they've been sitting there waiting for their chance. And like, here I am, like, just like gets called right up like that. That could be very annoying. And, obviously, I think when we're young and you're in your 20s and early 20s, you're like, oh, this person gets this opportunity over me and blah, blah, blah. And then I had to go be a general manager, which in my mind, and, looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, what an opportunity. Right. But in my, like, back then I was like, I just want to wrestle. Like, I just want to wrestle. I don't want to be just sit here and talk. And like, that was so boring for me. And I've always been a physical person. Also, Deanna, on one of the notes that you had said, like growing up, like you had always watched it. And so I think that a lot of people, maybe you too, like you get really protective and loyal, with wrestling, so I think sometimes people find out like, oh, you're a fan and you don't become a fan until your 20s. Like, well, they're not as big of a fan as me. But I think we all have that moment as wrestling fans that we fell in love with it. And whether that's when you were 6 years old or 26 years old or 36, you know, you found it, and like, how awesome. My family didn't watch it. I had no opportunity to like ever find it. And as soon as I did, it was like, oh my God, I love this so much.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything I can.
That was always one of my favorite things at the Performance Center. And I know you've said it too, where I was there for 6.5 years in a building, in a warehouse of just wrestlers being trained every day. And like in a situation I've seen so many times, like with a person like you just get called up in 6 to 8 weeks and you're just sitting there. You're like, you know what? Good for them. Like, I hope I get that opportunity one day. But then it's everybody has their different story and journey. And then you get these athletes that were coming in and they're getting pushed right away. And it's just like, what do I need to do? But at the same time, you're watching them fall in love with wrestling at the same time too. Cause there were so many people that just came in and out because they didn't care for it. But to watch an athlete or somebody from an outsider that wasn't a fan fall in love with it was always the best thing for me to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, I think I was really protective as a kid who wanted to be a wrestler. I was 9 years old when I told my parents, like, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And so as a kid, aspiring to do that, I was like, you have to do all of these things. And I read all the books from all the wrestlers and they all talked about, you got to travel the world. You got to train at OVW. You have to do these things. But then when I got into it, I realized like, well, that's not everyone's story and that's okay. And yeah, watching people fall in love with it, like regardless of the age, I just got lucky to know at 9 years old what I was meant to do in this world.
That is pretty cool. I wanted to be an archaeologist.
That's cool too, though. Yeah. But yeah, I had to learn to love the journey for everyone else and that it was okay to have a different story than I did. And that's why I think it's so fun to talk about now is like, we can explore those differences and it's okay that we're different and we fell in love at different times and we present different characters. And like, that's what makes this fun and unique.
Different creativity for different people. Sorry. Yeah, it's just different creativity.
Yeah. And I think that just comes also with age and growth also as a human. You know, I think when we're younger, we're just like, we just see what's right in front of us, you know, and we're more, I think about it with my kids, you know, when you're a kid, everything is about you. You're you-centered, it's me-centered. And so if something else is happening for someone else, you're wondering, well, why isn't it happening for me? I don't understand. But that person's journey has nothing to do with my journey. And I think that as you get older, you're able to not only just like grow and realize, okay, this is not a me-centered world. And not only that, but I have found that it's more enjoyable for me to watch other people grow than myself at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. And being able to watch my friends succeed means more and is more fulfilling for me. But you did talk about motherhood just then, and that's something Steve and I wanted to talk about. We've had other knockouts on here, Madison Rain, who's talked so much about how motherhood changed her entire life, but most importantly, her career and how she, you know, saw wrestling post becoming a mother. So we'd love for you to like explore that with us. And we know women have to step away, right? So was there ever the moment where it was like, it felt diminishing to give up the piece of you that was the wrestler to become a mom?
At the time, no. At the time, it was very much just like, I knew what I needed to do. Like, being a mom was the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And I did wrestle for a while when I had her, and she would hang out backstage with the knockouts. And, you know, I would put her in the ring when she was just a little baby, and we had a good time, but she was really, really little. She was a baby. And I think maybe until she was about 2 or 3 years old. And then as she started getting older, I remember that Universal put in a policy that there were no kids allowed backstage anymore. Oh. And when that happened, I was I was a single mom until I was about 10 months old. And then my husband he came into the picture when she was 10 months old. And so he would travel with me when he could or keep her when he could. But it just didn't always work out that way. And now I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? My daughter can't come to work with me. And it just became very hard and complicated. She also was getting older, and that, you know, it's not as easy when they get older because they're oddly more needy. And I don't say needy in a bad way, but just they need more of you. You know, like I could hold her, but I could also like put her down for a nap and go wrestle and then come back and feed her, like when she was little. But then as she got older and she doesn't take those naps anymore, it was just like, oh my God, it's past her bedtime. I would try and hire nannies to come with me. It just became very, very complicated. And so stepping away just really, it really felt like the right thing to do. I think I did try to come back after my second. I can't remember. I feel like maybe I had a short run. It all starts to blur together after a while, and once you are at this this stage. But I will say that now it's really cool because my kids are now 12 and 9. So they're in this stage of like exploring who they are and doing the things that they want to do and hang with friends. And so I'm finding that I have a little bit more free time as far as that goes. And also it's a time where I tell the kids, this is a part of me, and it's a part of me that obviously, I mean, I weekly dreams about wrestling, like this, it's in my heart so much. And I just want them to know, like, never give up on your dreams, never stop. Like, yes, did I walk away for a while? Yes. Will it ever go away? And maybe I'll never have an opportunity again. I don't know, but I know that it's so important and so special to me. And I think it's important for them to see that as well.
Hey guys, if this was a conversation you needed to hear today, let us know.
Like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Lace up your boots and join the conversation.
And we'll be talking to you.
You never stopped working. You were away from wrestling, but you did stunt work. You're an actress. You run marathons. And so you also stayed busy through all of that. Did you know that those things were your passions before wrestling, or did they just kind of fall into place after?
So stunts is funny because I started working. I wanted to get into stunts. Like when I was at WWE, we had a stunt coordinator, and there still is one there. It's a different one now. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. Forgive me. I'm so sorry. But I used to talk to him about it because I was like, oh, that would be really cool. Like, again, I'm a physical person. I really enjoy that sort of thing. I love performance. So I was like, oh, that would be great. And he was like, I cannot help you with that. Vince would kill me. If you ever don't work here anymore, let me know and I will give you information of people and you can do what you want with it. But for now, I can't. So once I was no longer with WWE, of course I hit him up and I was like, hello, and so he got me in contact with a couple of people, and they gave me information. Nobody just like gave me a job, however, which I thought that was going to be way easier to get. I don't know why. I was like, oh my God, I'm a wrestler. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. This is going to be great. I'm going to walk right in and get a job. It took me 2 freaking years. 2 years.
Everyone hates wrestlers. We're like so D-level compared to
I guess.
Like nobody cared. I mean, they did care. Like they were like, oh yeah, it's cool, but we're just not going to give you a job. You've never worked on a film before. Like that's not how it works. And I was like, oh, okay. So I literally had to wait for someone just to take a chance on me. And I also had to get my SAG card. So I started just like auditioning for acting roles. And I ended up booking an acting role. And that's how I got my SAG card, because every stunt coordinator was like, well, you can't, do you have your SAG card? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, I mean, you have to be union to work, but you have to work to be in the union. So it's like a very complicated situation. So I just had to audition for acting roles, and that's how I ended up falling into acting. And then finally, 2 years into this journey, I finally got an opportunity to work on Now You See Me, which thanks to a friend, Eric Salas, who reached out to a stunt coordinator, was like, hey, this girl's really good. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. So that journey started there.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you've been open about battling Hashimoto's, and I know this is a touchy subject to get into too as well. But like, when you were first diagnosed, and how did that diagnosis impact your life, and like, what did that do to you personally and then professionally as well?
So it's weird because it didn't really affect me. So when I was 19, I remember going to the pediatrician, and they did an ultrasound because he was like feeling around and he was like, oh, that feels enlarged. And so he realized that, okay, I was having hypothyroidism. But it wasn't until after I had my daughter that like it really became something that was really changing my life. And if I think about it, I look back on it and I'm like, there were probably things that I didn't notice, that I just kind of felt was normal. But as the years went on, the chronic fatigue was just insane. I mean, when I tell you I have slept for 72 hours straight, like just went to bed, and then my husband would be like, "Are you okay? Like, I have to wake you up. Like, you cannot sleep this long." And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm tired." And every time somebody would ask me, like, "How are you doing?" My answer was tired. It was just, it was chronically, it was awful. I hated it. So it's really, it's been since my daughter was born. And I remember, oh my God, I remember going to the doctor, just my general practitioner. And I'm like, "I'm tired." And he goes, "Well, you just had a baby." And I'm like, it's different. He goes, "No, it's just because you had a baby." And I think a lot of doctors dismiss it. They're just like, "No, you have kids, or you have this, or life is hard, or da da da." And I'm like, I mean, I've lived life. I've lived like a crazy life. I've traveled all over the world. I've never felt this tired and heavy. Like it felt like there's like your feet are in quicksand with every step that you take. It's awful. And so I just kind of was like over it. The past 10 years, I've really been diving into figuring out how to change my eating, how to work out. Like running marathons is not good for Hashimoto's, but here we are. Any sort of high stress situation, not good. But one of the biggest things is I ended up taking gluten out of my diet, and I took dairy out of my diet. That made a huge difference. Also, like, been fooling around with different like dosages of medication, and it's finally, I'm not even kidding you, within the last couple of months has started feeling better. I got my breast implants taken out a year ago. And I did like within 2 weeks, I felt better. This is the craziest thing. When I got my breast implants taken out, within a couple of months, I was down 8 pounds. By now, it's been over a year. I have lost 13 pounds. I have changed nothing, diet wise, workout wise, nothing. And when they took them out, they said it was inflamed. Like all of the tissue around it was inflamed. So my body also, whether the breast implants cause the Hashimoto's or, the Hashis was just made worse by having the implants, I don't know. But the inflammation, the inflammation was high. And so my body was just constantly fighting. Yeah. So, and Hashis will not go away. So it's just now like, how do I manage it? And so far, we're doing really good. So I feel like the last couple of months, I feel alive. I wake up and I actually feel awake and I can get stuff done. Where before it was like I could sleep 10 to 12 hours. I'd be up for about 4 to 5 and then need to lay down for like a 2 to 3 hour nap. It's wild.
Yeah, no. And I wanted to talk about it because I remember you sharing this whole journey on social media. And now, being removed from that, like, did social media help you find, whether it's different doctors or different tools, or connect you with people who were experiencing the same thing? Like, how did social media help you through this journey?
Well, God bless the algorithm, because I swear they read our minds. Like you think about it and then it pops up on your screen. You're like, what the heck? So functional health really started kind of coming into play for me, and like really seeing that and like looking up Hashimoto's. And so it kind of led me down a path. I found this really great organic smoothie shop in town. And they're the ones that kind of turned me on to this one doctor who she does integrative health, and she actually has she's lost all of her hair due to having thyroid disease. So she's very, very passionate about it. And so between social media and that, and then I've also I've even talked to that doctor, the integrative health doctor, functional doctor that I paid $800 every 30 minutes to visit. And I'm like, should I get my breast implants taken out? And they're like, no, I don't think that's extreme. And I'm like, but then once I got them out, and then I'm like, the tissue is inflamed. Like my body is fighting that. And it can be down to like teeth. You could have like implants, your body fights them. And oddly enough, I got an implant. My body rejected it immediately. A tooth implant, so I think that there's a lot to it. And people kind of say like, we're crazy for like doctors are like, no, breast implants, no, teeth implants, no. And I'm like, I don't believe it. I've seen enough people online and then have started experimenting with it myself and seeing that, okay, these things are making a big difference for me.
Yeah. And I feel like everything you've kind of said about like, I feel like that happens with women so much, of just like, yes, you're just tired because you have kids, or, that's normal. And I feel like, especially so many mothers,
like a stereotype.
Yes, women fall into that category so often of like, no, that's just normal. And it's so not. So like, I'm so happy you continue to fight and find better resources, because like you're feeling your best and you're finally getting through that. And like, you've returned to wrestling twice now, and you're like living your best professional life that maybe you wouldn't have been able to live.
Oh, 100%.
That was wearing you down. So, but I did want to talk about that first return to NWA back in 2020, 2021. Was there anything you maybe did differently that time? Because you were entering a new locker room. That division was stacked with incredible talent who've gone on to do such amazing things, but a new environment for you. So was it scary? Were you excited about it? And maybe what did you do differently as opposed to your first, runs at TNA?
So I was really excited. I wasn't nervous. The day that I showed up was maybe the same day that Velvet Sky showed up, which, felt great. Cause like I knew her, Melina was in the locker room, so that was really cool to like walk in and know people. And then, everybody else was great. Like Kaylee was amazing. Myra was like so sweet, like so many people were, and then Pat Kinney was there also, which, I had worked with him so much at TNA, and I had also worked with Billy at TNA. So it was like, it kind of, every locker room you walk into, it's the same, but different, like every TV taping or wrestling show, it's the same, but different, so it never feels too foreign, even if it's people that you don't know. I'm also, like I'm an extrovert, I guess. Like, so I just like to talk to people, and, I'm like, hi, I'm Taryn, da, 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 like I'm just like excited, and I want to learn everybody's stories and get to know them. So for me, it was just like really exciting to be able to do that. And as far as like, one of the cool things about it was I felt a lot, because it had been a few years since I had wrestled for TNA. And again, like as I've grown, I have become obviously just more confident in myself and who I am and who I want to be, and who I want to present. And I felt like walking into that very calm and just like, okay, like, who you are. You know exactly who you are and what you're going to do. And there was really nothing, nothing to be too nervous about as far as that. Like, obviously, anytime I go out, there's never a day that I don't walk out, whether I'm doing a play or I'm doing something. Like, there's never a time that I'm not nervous. Like, I'm always nervous because I'm a perfectionist and I want to make sure that I do well and that everybody else does well. And I don't want to mess anybody else up. So I'm like those sort of nerves are always going. But, yeah, I had a really good time. I had a really good time developing like who I was out there, and just like anything that would come to me, I could just go for it. It was pretty loose as far as that sort of stuff goes. Like there was, like structure wise, like I really just kind of got to go out and play. And I felt like that was really a good time.
Yeah.
No, it's cool to have that moment to also especially know who you are. Cause I had the same experience when I left WWE. I was known for being a tag team. I was long haired beard and I had to reinvent myself, and I'm coming into TNA, but like I knew who I was on the inside. But I had to prove myself and show the world, like, okay, cool, this is who I am, and either take it or leave it. That's kind of the way I always thought about it. But for you now, you're in a full circle moment, and you're coming back to TNA at Rebellion. Like, please, like, elaborate on how you're feeling about this. Nervous, excited.
Okay, well, wait. And I just say this really quick, and I'm going to make you almost ask me this question again. And I'm so sorry, but I feel bad in this conversation because I feel like we're just talking about me, and I hate that I'm not like turning around and being like, okay, but how did that feel for you? Did you feel better when you walked in without the, long hair, and you're like, okay, this is me?
Yeah. No, it was because it was different because it was COVID time. So there was no fans.
Well, Steve also, his journey into wrestling, like he left the Marine Corps, wrestled for a year and a half, 2 years, and was assigned to WWE in NXT. And so he didn't like know any other real environment. Like he never went to TNA before. He had never been to NWA or Ring of Honor. And so it was fun for me, because I was already at TNA when he came in, to like watch him be like, oh, other environments exist, and like not everything is the WWE way. And
walking on eggshells.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it was very like open, and like it was just, I was very like well received because I knew most of the guys in the locker room as well too, because of tryouts or just being out and about, and just you learn the wrestling world. And I'm a very people person anyway, and she laughs at it. She's like, you could talk to anybody. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, if you're nice, I'm gonna talk to you. If not, like I want to get to know people and know their lives as well. So for me, it was COVID time, and it was odd because it's like you're getting an 8-minute match with no fans, and you have to do a squash match. So it's just like, all right, this is a challenge. So it really started to challenge my ability and made me a better performer as well. But then once we let fans in, I just hit the ground running, and it was just I've loved it. That's why I've been with TNA for 5 years now. Come June.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it's a really special company. I felt that too when I went back. When I was able to start at TNA, which again was also a fight to try and get a job there. It was not easy. And I think that was also part of a whole 2-year journey also. And I felt that as well. Like when I got there, I was like, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was just like, okay, it still ran like perfectly professionally. It was wonderfully ran, but it was just this ability to take a breath and enjoy it, which I think that sometimes at WWE, it's such a pressure cooker situation that I don't, and especially like I wasn't there for all that long. So it was never really got a chance to just relax there. So I agree with you that it's just like, you were like, oh, okay. Like I'm home.
Yeah, no, I felt the same exact way when I walked in for the first time. I was nervous because I had got released from NXT that first round of big releases when COVID hit in April 2020. And I had just had such a...
That was for the better.
I don't want to say it was a bad experience, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be when I joined NXT. And so I kind of fell out of love with wrestling. I kind of fell out of love with myself at the time. And I just didn't know if I wanted to stay in the wrestling space. And Madison was such a great friend of mine, but was such a big proponent of like, just come try TNA. It's special here. It's different. You will fall back in love with wrestling if you give it a try. And I felt the same exact way. Like I walked into a home, and people who like kind of nurture that environment and the camaraderie in the locker room. And it's like no other place I've ever felt, which is why I get emotional when I talk about it, because it was just the best, like 3.5 years of wrestling that I've had in my entire 14-year career. And so like to watch him be able to get that same feeling and like fall back in love with this and realize like, yeah, not everything's a pressure cooker and not everything, it needs to be 100% all of the time. This place will let you grow and learn and discover and allows for mistakes. I think is what's always made it so special.
Yeah, I could agree more. And you asked me a question earlier, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but no, again, with Rebellion coming up, and this is a new chapter for you too. Like, how do you see this? Obviously, at Rebellion, how does this moment feel for you coming back for Rebellion, one of the biggest pay-per-views? Mm-hmm. And then also, what's this next chapter look like for Terryn Terrell?
So I was just texting with Candace yesterday, actually. And she was probably like, oh my God, because I sent her the longest text messages because she's like, how are you feeling about Saturday? And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, okay. Didn't, you expect like, good, great, everything's good. And, so I have so many emotions, and it's been really weird. Like I am, okay. So first and foremost, I am unbelievably grateful for this. Like I said, I mean, I dream in wrestling, and it is, I'm like, okay, I guess this is it. And I truthfully had tried several times to come back to TNA, and I had reached out to other wrestling companies as well. I wanted to wrestle, and it was a no. It's been a no for many, many years. Mm-hmm. After NWA, I was never able to get a yes again. And so I had to sort of come to terms with like, okay, well, that's it. Like that is my career, and that is how it ended. And I didn't get to be fully aware and present in that moment. I pray that, okay, well, this is hard because when I pray, this is a terrible prayer. No, it's a good prayer, but I'm going to tell you it's complicated because my prayer is that, God, whatever the path and journey is for me, I pray that those doors open. And if it is not a journey for me, no matter how badly I think I want it, please don't let that door open. Mm-hmm. And that has been, it's given me peace when I don't have a door that opens for me and I want that door. And I'm like, okay, God, I got it. Like, got it. And so it's a hard prayer though, because then I'm praying for things that no matter how badly I want it, if it's not the right journey for me, that it doesn't happen, so it's like it is kind of a scary one, but my heart just wants to be in that ring. My body, I'm honestly more prepared than I ever have been, which is kind of wild to think, just because I'm older. When I wrestled for TNA last time, I didn't work out. Like I didn't go to the gym. I didn't like
piss a lot of people off that comment.
Nothing. My workout was being in the ring. That was my workout. Now I actually I feel at Sacrifice, I was like, oh, look, check me out. I'm so agile. Like, I felt really good. And I was like, dang, I guess this is what working out gets you, you know? So stupid. So I was like, okay. Yeah, no, listen, my train is off the track. So y'all are going to have to help me get back on because I forgot the real question.
Yeah, well, okay, so yes, we're talking about Rebellion being back in the ring. You're going to be live on pay-per-view in a 6-woman tag, and you're on the Knockouts Legend side. So, we're filming this pre-Rebellion, but when you look back on what that night is, late Saturday night, come Sunday morning, what do you hope that you left in the ring? What do you hope the fans get from seeing Terryn Terrell one more time in a TNA ring? And what are you hoping to leave out there?
That was really good. Thank you for helping me get there. So the emotions of it. Okay. So, I'm so sorry because I talk so much. You guys are probably like, oh my God, she does not stop talking. I'm so grateful and I have so much gratitude going into this and also having the ability to say like, this could be the last time I ever step foot in a ring. I mean, like I said, I've tried several times to get back into it. I've been like, no. And then all of a sudden this is happening. And I am so grateful to Tommy Dreamer for allowing this to happen for me, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have this moment, and I'm going to cry. But I'm also sad going into it because I'm like, is this it? Is this it? Do I walk into this ring and I get to leave everything out there? And my plan is to leave everything I ever have and every ounce of myself to pour into that in that moment. And I want to be very fully present and enjoy every single moment. So I do get to go in with the idea of, okay, if this is the last time, have that in your head, if that makes sense. Because I think there's a lot of times that people have the last time and you don't ever know that that's your last time. And I am going to go into it with that mentality while also praying that there's something beyond it.
Yeah, no, I think that's all you can do, right? And we feel that same sentiment all the time in our lives of like, it's God testing our patience and putting us where we need to be. And so
sometimes you just need a super kick to test your patience.
Oh
no. I am very excited for you that you get to have that moment after waiting for that door to be open for you. I think it's going to be really special, especially to share it with the women you get to share it with. I'm excited to watch it as a fan. So
are the kids going to be ringside? Because that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to?
They were supposed to be, but they have better things to do. My daughter, she's a theater kid and she's in a play, and so she's got rehearsals, and my son has a baseball game. So it's funny, but they are actually going to have a watch party at home, and my sister, who lives in Louisiana, is actually coming out, so she is going to be ringside.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up here, we kind of like to leave it with a piece of advice from our guests. And we talk so much about your journey with Hashimoto's. And I think that
being a mom.
Yes, I think it's really important to maybe leave someone with, what would you say to someone who's going down this like autoimmune path and needs help and needs that support, and give them just one piece of advice to keep going and to continue to fight for themselves and their health?
So I would say that just get online, research, you join groups, Facebook groups that other people are dealing with the same sort of health issues, because I promise you they are out there, and just find those people, connect with those people. And this sounds kind of crazy, but like things like ChatGPT are amazing in this sense, because it can scan the internet for you and you can pop in like symptom after symptom. And it can really sort of like hone in on like holistic approaches, or maybe find holistic podcasters who speak on that often. And again, like start searching that in your algorithm, because your algorithm will start pushing those things out to you, which sounds so crazy that like now I'm looking for health advice in my algorithm. But the truth of the matter is that doctors are great. I do love Western medicine. I do, but I do think that there is more to health than just going off of what a general practitioner has to say. And I have seen countless doctors from functional health doctors who you have to pay so much money to, who will be like, here, take this supplement and this one and thousands of dollars of supplements. And it's a process and a journey, and it is frustrating, but it will, sorry, I've lost my light here. It will get better, and you will find your answer, but you can't give up.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for joining us on Boots to Boots. Yeah, this is pre-Rebellion, so it will go out after Rebellion, but we're wishing you the best of luck in the ring this Saturday. And we're excited to watch you leave it all out there.
Yes. All of it. It's going to be out there. I'm walking back with nothing.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying Boots to Boots, let us know.
Lace up your boots and join the conversation.
Like, subscribe, leave us a comment,
And
we'll be talking to you.